And it's a new week, and we have a new president elect, and it's been a really, really interesting time. And so today's topic is reset and what it looks like to sort of step off the hamster wheel and give ourselves permission to uh, create a reset and start fresh. So before we get started, let's just take a couple minutes to take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it and imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells and all your organs, and bringing vital energy into every part of your body. And as you exhale any stress, any tension. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it, and this time imagine clean, crisp, beautiful, bright, sparkling light, lighting up all your molecules, all your electrons, electrifying you and energizing you and flowing energy throughout all the energy systems in your body and connecting you with the world beyond. And now as you exhale any remaining stress or tension, and let's just take a moment to get present to our physical bodies by pressing your palms gently together and softly rubbing your fingers against your palms. Feel the tingling and the tickling and the deliciousness of that sensation, and allow yourselves to become present right here, right now. Welcome, welcome. So I'm steering clear of the details of politics, but I can say that for myself, and I'm sure for so many of you, this past week and leading up to the election and the days after the election were emotionally challenging for so many of us. And while some of us are celebrating, others of us are distraught. And what we get to do now is recognize that we are in a new cycle or a new phase. And uh, I know for myself, I really needed an emotional reset. I personally found the stress of the election to be much greater than I had anticipated, and I don't know if that's something that you're experiencing as well. You know, after a time of high energy or um, super intense emotional engagement, when there is a resolution or when there's an emergency, same dynamic. When there's an emergency, after the emergency passes, all that adrenaline just sort of leaves sort of a deficit of sorts, and there's a letdown. And so I don't know if you're experiencing that. I can say that I did. And I really just felt exhausted. And I didn't realize how, as I said, how much of a toll the atmosphere in the country, the uh, the tension of the election. I really didn't realize how profoundly I was impacted by it, or I reacted to it. And so I I saw myself sort of crash afterwards to just say, oh my gosh, I just felt depleted and needed a reset. And so I'm wondering if you guys have experienced anything similar, and regardless of the outcome, how you're managing, you know, regardless of what the outcome, whether the outcome was favorable or unfavorable in your mind, I'm wondering how you are managing in this place where we at least have a decision. And for me, I found two pathways that I found helpful. Well, three. So one was going into nature It really, just to connect with the ground. And we were very fortunate where I am in Pennsylvania to have incredibly beautiful weather in the 70s, and which is crazy for November. Thank you, global warming. But it it was really, really a beautiful weekend for weather. And so I had the inspiration. Good morning, Dido. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And welcome to everybody else who's joining us this morning. Thank you so much for being here. And we're kind of talking about a reset in the aftermath of all the emotional tension of the election specifically, and what do we do to care for ourselves when we need to reset ourselves emotionally and energetically. So for me, going into nature, I gave myself a huge treat of going to the beach. And good morning, Ross. Great to have you here. I'm so glad you're joining us. Ross, are you in the US? I'm thinking you must be because you're saying good morning, but I'm not sure. Um, we're talking about how do we reset ourselves from emotional tension, which I think probably everybody in the country experienced over the past week or more, related to the election. So um, going into nature, putting your feet, oh, California, wow, you're up early. Thank you for being here. That's awesome. Um, anyway, putting your feet on the ground, putting your feet in the sand, putting your feet in the water, all of those things, being able to sit in nature, to listen to nature, to feel the air, to smell those scents, to experience ourselves as part of something greater. That helps as a reset for me. And I'm wondering if that is effective for you. It really makes a big difference. And sleep really gives our cells and our brains an opportunity to readjust and relax and release and revitalize. So you might be feeling a greater need for sleep. If you do, honor that, and do take yourself out into nature. Do take yourself out where you can appreciate the breeze and the delightful weather, if there is delightful weather. And if it isn't delightful weather, maybe just find a way to connect with nature in a way that it nourishes you. I'm just listening to the birds made such a difference for me and really, really helped. And also baths. I don't know if you're a bath person, but I am. And Epsom salt baths make miracles in my experience. So that's been really helpful. I kind of pulled out all the stops. I did energy work on myself. If you know how to do tapping, that's really a powerful personal calibration or recalibration tool to clear energy blocks or energy uh, jangledness. I know that's not a word, but so there are all kinds of things that we can do. And one of the things that I notice about a reset that's really, I think, what makes it work is stepping outside the normal routine. So whatever it is you're doing that is part of your normal routine, a reset for me happens best when I step out of those routines, when I go do something different than what I normally do. And that, by contrast, sort of jangles, just shakes things up inside, to be able to have them settle back down in a little bit of a new way, maybe. The others of you might find exactly the opposite, that clinging, not clinging, but following a routine, adhering to a routine might be comforting for you. And maybe that will give you a reset that you're hungry for. In any case, we have an opportunity now in this country to really be putting our attention on unity and resetting from the divisive and angry and combative and oppositional energy that existed for so many of us during the election and during even over the past 4 years. My hope is that we can we can find a way back to come back together, to come back together as humans, really looking for creating a world that is moving in the way to the direction that will provide um, provide a thriving an opportunity for all of us to thrive. How about that? And to come together, to come together. What a wonderful concept. Yes, after a time of such great division, I I I do feel some relief at a different message, a message of connection and unity. And I'm hoping that we can all find some possibility in that idea, that we can heal wounds, that we can bring ourselves to connect with one another and generate positive uh, positive possibilities collectively. So I'm hoping that we can do that together. I'm hoping that wherever we were, that whatever our our politics, that we can find a way to communicate past those differences. For us, as like walking away from a bad breakup. Yeah, I just have, it was shocking to me to realize how emotional this whole period has been for me. I was on a call on Saturday with some folks from different countries, and we hadn't yet had the results of the election, and they were asking how it was here in the US and how it was for me. And I just found myself welling up with tears, not not because I thought the candidate I voted for was going to win or lose, but because of the deep separation that has occurred in our country, that's been nourished and nurtured in our country, and our factionalization, how our polarization, and it's tragic. It's really, really tragic, because I believe that we have so much more strength when we work together, and when we find ways to communicate with one another and across bridges. And I believe we're called now to find a level of compassionate understanding and communication that we've never been called to before, because what we can see is that the country was split 50-50 almost. And it's this I know that we're not all going to agree about everything, or maybe even lots of things, but hopefully we can agree on our humanity and find a way to speak our minds in a way that is peaceful and respectful, and take take effective action from that place of compassion and humanity. Like, we get to nourish the better parts of ourselves in order to become uh, more of a union, more unified, more connected. So, especially all of us who consider ourselves spiritually minded, um, we get to find a new way to be with each other, a new way to be with our fears, to be with um, our passions, to be with our possibilities and our visions and our hopes and our dreams, and to communicate across the divide. If we want to create a world that is a peaceful world, peace starts here, right? We get to exemplify new ways of being, um, to 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 live our highest values with one another, to nourish and nurture the best of us, the best of what human beings can be. And it's an interesting time, right? And I think that's a Chinese curse: may you live in interesting times. So this is for surely an interesting time, and it's beholden on all of us to be conscious, to be aware, to be compassionate, to be forward thinking, and again, to speak our voice, to speak our hearts in ways that are productive. We don't want to cultivate those things that we see have been not working, right? We don't want to feed the beast in that way. We want to uh, nourish and nurture our higher capabilities. And we need a reset. We need a reset. I know that there has been so much um, divisiveness, not just within the country, but within families over politics and viciousness. And there is a need for a lot of healing. There is a need to move past this, actually, rather than forgetting it or pretending that the ugliness hasn't existed. We get to address it and heal it directly. And that takes courage. It takes courage and commitment and willingness to hold a higher banner of compassion and understanding and connection. And that's really what we're here for. This is a time when it's ever more important to be the light bearers that we believe ourselves to be, and to carry forward hope and possibility and commitment. We can do this. We can do this together. And I um, I have hope that we can. I have hope that we can rise to the challenge of the moment in a way that forwards peace and connection and compassion. So, time for a reset. And how do we do that? How do you do a reset when you need a personal reset? We see that we need a reset now as a country. How do we do that? What do you do for yourself that works? Because it's not just self-indulgent to take advantage of the opportunity or to answer the call for a reset. It's something that we need in order to continue. So it is the same idea as the oxygen mask. You put yours on first so that you can be of assistance and support for others. So we get to do what we need to do to take care of ourselves, to nurture our or heal our own wounds, to heal the wounds in our families, in our friendships. I mean, people that have been friends for years and years have broken their friendships over this, uh, over the politics. There's so much that we get to heal and correct, and we get to be creative in the way that we choose to move forward, and we get to be conscious, and we get to exercise our choice to determine how we're going to deal with this new uh, turn in the environment in our country. And um, yeah, so we're called on to be creative, we're called on to be compassionate, we're called on to rise to this challenge, and recognize that we don't all believe the same thing, and how do we bridge that gap in a way that forwards all of humanity. So um, take the time that you need to give yourself a reset, and let's come back to this from our highest nature so that we can be here for ourselves and we can be here for each other. And let's let's remember that we are part of one big global family. And we got to see how that family is pretty dysfunctional. Let's look at what it takes to heal. And I guess that's it for today. I just want to thank you so much for being here with me, and I I honor you, and I have hope for all of us to be able to work together. So I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I'm here every weekday morning on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page. I thank you so much for being here. Please enjoy and check out and dig into the Enlightened World Network Facebook community. They're wonderful people, wonderful programming, lots of really interesting information. And with that, um, oh, so so Ross says the word I came away with is find a way to bridge the gap. Exactly. That's our biggest challenge, is to find a way to communicate across our differences and bridge the gap. So thank you for that, Ross, and thank you so much, Dido, for being here, and for everybody else who's joining us. And together we can do this. We can find a path to peace. So until next time, lots and lots of love.